Hi, and welcome to Hypothetically Intentional, where we ask the question, what if we set intentions with everything we do? I'm your host, Michelle Albers, and today we have Alysia with us. I can't talk. I'm so excited. I can't even get my words out. Like, it's that exciting. She reached out to me this morning and she has a story to tell. And I'm like, hey, can we do this in real time on the podcast? And if you don't want to, totally fine, safe space and all those things, but you were all in. And it is one of the things I love most about you, Alysia, is that you are always all in. So, all that being said, welcome to the podcast.
Yay! It's finally happening. We've
It's
only been talking about this for
yeah.
how many of you had the podcast going?
It's happening. It's happening. So,
Yeah.
on that note, would you like to set an intention? Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think um, today the intention I've been hearing loud and clear for a while, but I think I need to share it. Um, is look at your relationship to words,
Mm.
especially words that make you uncomfortable. And yeah, start from there. I think get curious about it because changing my outlook to certain things just by, looking at my relationship to how that word affected me or how it made me feel has completely 180'd my life. Like it's wild. It's so wild. So yeah.
I probably have a million questions, but also I totally get it because I've also, well, we've been talking about words a lot because definitions and how we relate to them and what they mean to us is so much deeper than I've ever really pondered until we started talking about it. We as a collective, we as a community.
I think, and it's been coming in for all of us. It's
Yeah,
challenging all of us now
right.
because we cannot see it now, right? Some of those things. Now I don't, now anytime I get uncomfortable with a word or some scenario, I'll actually like ponder it for a while. Like, why is this in particular? Why do I not like this? Or why is this making me feel uncomfortable? Right.
Yeah.
So that has just, if you're ready for that.
I'm ready. I don't want to ask questions. I just want to let you flow. So flow, girl, flow.
I don't even know where to begin. Um, I just came back from, well, coming off the summit weekend, right? And then Monday morning, we're heading on to vacation to up north to our annual thing that we do with, some of our friends and that are family, basically. And it was the first year it felt like I hate saying Hallmark, but like a Hallmark vacation where it was just easy. Everything was easy
Wait,
because,
what?
yeah, because we all just like, there were no expectations. Like we all had let go of so much control over the last year because of who we were with.
Hmm.
Not only were people that we cared about, but who are also doing their own work, right? So like, oh, it was so magical, and I cried so much, but for the best reasons. Like they were happy tears, and I never thought I would say like, oh, I cried so much on vacation. It was the best vacation ever. But like,
That's amazing though, because that's what you said at the summit. You were like, I feel like I just need to cry.
yeah. And I did a lot this week, but it was because I caught myself in moments of gratitude. And instead of doing my usual ping-ponging around to avoid that feeling of gratitude, that's when it hit me that I haven't been letting myself feel gratitude, like real gratitude for what's happening in the moment, because I'm constantly just I think ADHD is one of my defense mechanisms to not feel emotions that are uncomfortable to me, because gratitude is new to me. I've never felt this amount of gratitude that I have in these last few years, and it's just it if you wrap your mind around thinking of it as a never-ending resource, it just gets bigger and bigger. Like it's just, and then that feeling of gratitude just brings me to tears, like the joyous tears that you make, or at least I grew up making fun of, the movies where, oh, they're crying because they're happy or da, 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 da. But like, no, it for real happens when you're in it and you feel it. At least it does for me. I've come to find out.
Yeah, like it
So,
bubbles up so much, like you have so much emotion in a good way inside of you, you don't
right.
know where to put it. So it just comes,
Yep.
it bubbles out your eyes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Now that I've let go of like feeling like I need to keep it in or keep it looking a certain way
Mm, that's
to
so beautiful.
appease everybody else around me, but instead just letting it out. Cause like crying makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Turns out. and everybody, this trip, everybody saw me cry that we were housed with. And I've never felt, well, okay, that's a lie because it just came from the summit where I bawled my eyes out in front of a group of people and I felt so comfortable, but it felt I just okay. Like, yeah, you can cry. It's okay to let it go. Let it out, man. Like, there's no shame in that. And
Yeah.
realizing that was just, man. But I evidently wasn't. No, I won't say it like that. That's coming in with a negative connotation. I don't like that. But Friday morning, I threw my back out,
Oh no.
getting packed up. So that was when everybody saw the majority of my tears, but they weren't tears out of like, ow, I'm in pain. Like, yes, it hurt, but I was more of like, shit, now I really have to ask for help
Oh,
when I know I can do it myself, like getting everything packed up. And I'm like, okay, I'll just do it. I'll just get everything. I'm not even going to worry about getting on the kids' cases about helping because I'm like, it's just not worth it in this moment. I'll just get everything done. And I bring the scooter to the van, I set it down, and I bend back up, and that was it. That was it. I was like, I knew in that moment, I'm like, oh no, now I really have to actually ask for help and trust others and like, shit. So that's, yeah, just the universe is funny and I find it humorous. I'm laughing now. I'm still in pain, but I'm still laughing. So I
were you laughing in that moment or were you like panicking in that moment? I mean, maybe
was
both.
panicking for sure at first. But then when the tears came, that was when I was realizing like you were surrounded by the most amazing people. And again, just let yourself be grateful that they want to help you and they're not even, like uh,
Did I just
the
hear that
people.
you received on a new level, like
Yeah,
an amplified level, because you were open to it first?
yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't have to like settle into it or convince yourself that it was okay to receive it or
Stop
go through the
fighting
whole
it.
battle. Yeah, the battle in your brain about,
Yeah. Why do we do that shit to ourselves? It's exhausting. Just let it be. Let it be. And yeah, the most amazing things will happen. Like I watched my kids have making their own memories of family vacation that involves just the two of them.
oh,
And like overcoming their own bickering, so to speak. Like I saw them problem solve on their own without me like wanting to, oh, hey, somebody sounds a little upset, like, and I sat right there. That was one of those moments that I didn't have my phone on me. I didn't have, and I kept catching myself that, oh, I should go maybe, put away dishes or see what needs to be cleaned up. Or, and then there was a voice that was like, you need to sit right here in silence and let what is happening in front of you happen. No matter what it is, it could end up with both of them crying and screaming at each other or beating each other up, but that that's their moment. And I shouldn't be, not shouldn't, that's another one of those words I need to change my relationship with. But just let it be. Just be the silent observer in my own children's lives without trying to make it be about me, and healing the things that I went through as in those moments, know that they have the support in the community that we surround them with,
Mm.
to let them be themselves without judgment or being pushed away because they're not who everybody else wants them to be. They get to handle things on their level and figure out how to handle things on what level they feel appropriate. And that's up to them, not us. Certainly not me.
You held
So,
space
yeah.
in a new and different way.
And it was really uncomfortable at first.
I was just gonna say, not only for your boys, but also for you. Like
Yeah.
that's just a different version or a different way for you to show up with your
Yep.
boys, just from everything you've talked about and like the things that challenge you the most. That feels like a huge, like, I don't know, almost, I don't know. I'm seeing like a lily pad just like flipping over.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just we got a new side now. We're gonna do this in a new and different way, and we'll see
Yep.
what happens, you know?
Yep.
But that's amazing. So, and they worked it out themselves. They
Every single time.
yeah, yeah, it's amazing what they do when we give them the chance, right?
Every single time. And then there were a few times where I stayed the silent observer, but I watched Brian jump in
Oh,
when
that's
I'm like,
funny. That's cute.
oh, I'm really curious to see how they would have handled that one themselves, like, but I didn't stop Brian from doing it either, because that's his thing. He's, I'm not gonna, maybe I'll make mental note of it and talk about it or bring it up as an idea or something to, it just didn't feel right doing that in the moment. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Well,
Like,
I what I
that's not when it was supposed to happen. At least not right now.
yeah.
So,
One of the coolest parts about that story, well, I mean, there's several, but I love, normally like at the summits when we're talking about breaking patterns or catching ourselves. I don't like that because that's guilty shamey. It's
yep,
funny. We're both look, you can tell we're on words right now, right? Because we're catching
yep.
ourselves in words that like have a connotation. I grew up in a
That we're
guilty
like,
shamey house, and I'm like, oh, I don't love that word. It makes me feel like I got caught doing something wrong. And I didn't mean it in that way. So I want to be clear about that. But like at the summits, it's us catching ourselves in our patterns that are about us. And what you did, it sounds like, is you caught yourself in a pattern that was external to you. I mean, it's your pattern still, but it was external to you in how you show up with your boys. And then you were witnessing, like you were the silent observer, not only for yourself, but also for your kids. And then witnessed Brian in a pattern of how the two of you were previously showing up, good, bad, or indifferent, not saying it's any of the above. But I also feel like because you were on vacation and not at home, sometimes that makes like the flow of the transition easier, right? Because it's like, oh, it changed on vacation, but nobody really puts two and two together and understands that mom's different now at home. We just think we're reset from the vacation and we don't like connect all those dots necessarily. And by when I say we, I mean your kids, right? Like they won't necessarily
yep.
even notice but they've also already themselves broken the pattern of mom stepping in and solving the problems because that
Mm-hmm.
happened for the whole vacation. So now that you're
Yep.
home, you can be that silent observer and no one's going to be looking at you waiting for you to solve things because they understand that, oh, like it's already evolved, which is so
Yep.
cool how quickly it can happen.
Yep. And now I can't physically like do a lot of the things I would normally do to pick up after them, so to speak. Things
Mm.
that they're physically capable of doing themselves, but I've done it to myself where I've gotten into the habit of, okay, I'll just pick up after, dinner or whatever you've left out, or food wise or toy wise even. But now, like, my body is, nope, I cannot step in. Now they have to physically do more of the things that they should. There's one of those words I don't like. Uh, be doing. And so it's just it's kind of a funny kick in the butt to
Yeah.
sit
So you're
down.
seeing what they're capable of. That's what I'm hearing from you is like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm seeing what they're capable of. And the other thing I'm hearing, which maybe you're not saying, but I'm hearing it, and that is you are seeing in real time what the control that you required, like the result of that, what that was. And now
The
you're like,
consequences of my decisions. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I'm super not
I
laughing
know
at
very
you, I
well. There's
promise.
nobody to get mad at. There's nobody to get mad at but me. I did it.
Right. I hear you. Like I said, I'm not laughing at you. I promise. I'm 100% laughing with you. The
With
number
me
of
because I'm laughing
times.
too.
Yeah, yeah. I know the number of times that that was my story with my boys. It's like, oh my gosh, I've been controlling this whole thing and all that's done now that I see it in this new way has caused me a big old headache and them too. It's like, oh, oh,
Yep.
oh. Like we do that series of O's all the time. It's like, wait, and
Uh-huh.
you can hear it in your brain. Like you can feel the energy of those
The
O's.
different. Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
Because each one
amazing.
is significantly different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it was good. It was really good.
I did see pictures of I believe it was you and in was that a
The
kayak?
kayak.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I believe I also saw pictures of him solo.
Yep.
That's
He got
amazing.
in the kayak and never got out in the kayak solo. Took him out for a little while and then he
Nice.
wanted to try it himself. And he had a few frustrating moments, but he's a determined little guy. So
So he did
he's
his
gonna
thing.
scream about it, but then he's gonna pick up that paddle and go for it again. So you just gotta let him do it.
That's so
And then
cool.
even did the stand-up paddleboarding too. I got a
Oh,
picture of,
nice.
Melissa got a picture of him with the like standing up on the paddleboard with the paddle in the air, and oh my god, it's fantastic. It's the perfect.
So coming into the summit, you were feeling very challenged by that relationship. After
Oh
the
yeah,
vacation, or even at the beginning of the vacation, did it shift immediately, or how did
oh
that
yeah,
go?
yeah. I mean, I felt confused after Saturday of
Yeah.
like figuring out what I needed to hear, but then also really hearing it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
having it settle in and drop in, and then I don't know, just letting go and practicing the silent observer thing, just remembering to do that. Wow.
Yeah.
Silence is, I don't know. Silence can say so much.
Oh my gosh, that's such a huge statement.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful statement and
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, it is. Because then I even start thinking about myself, like my own habit of when I feel uncomfortable is I just start rambling and, talk and talk and talk and talk. And then I'm like, am I really saying anything that's that important? What am I doing to the energy around me right now? Because if
Yeah.
I'm not helping, then maybe I should just shut up. So and in a lot of cases, in a lot of sense, it's been almost better because you find out more. You stop making it about you and you see what's around you for what they really are.
I have to say, if like you don't mind if I talk about the summit, your experience
Yeah, no,
and
go
my
ahead.
my
I'm
my
wide
witness to
open.
that.
Mhm.
Um, it was so beautiful. I knew Saturday was confusing. I knew it was, and it felt like it was required to be to move for you to move wherever you were going to move. And it was
Mhm.
so beautiful to witness. Well, there were so many layers to it, but like on Saturday, you were using your soul care toolkit tools to, you know, what could have appeared to be to actually go inward and look, but the reality of the truth of it was you were using it as an escape and an avoidance.
Exactly.
And then to witness that, to uncover that, to reveal that, to look at that, to just be silent and witness that. And then to have Saturday wrap up, I mean, there's more things that happen between then, but then to have Saturday wrap up and then you come back on Sunday and to witness you witnessing yourself without distraction or avoidance was absolutely a beautiful moment. And I don't know, it was palpable and there aren't necessarily words to describe it, but I just remember there was a point where you were sitting inward and it was clear that you weren't running from whatever was going on inside. And I looked at Dan, we were at the table and I looked at him and I said, "She's not running." And he goes, "I know." And it was super quiet because we were like, we didn't want to interrupt the flow of what was happening, but we were both like this. You could tell we wanted to like dance on the table and high five and like, because it was such a cool, I mean, for things to shift that quickly,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've been doing the work and you've been doing the work enough time for long enough that you've turned many, many corners and evolved around that spiral path in a way that makes witnessing sort of the new things that unfold and uncover through the external world, right? Like, I mean, you came in and it was about, and by Sunday, by Saturday,
Let's
was
be
that
real.
it was like, okay, I get it. I see what's happening here, and I might still be confused, like you definitely still had some confusion. And then it's like that dance of, okay, it didn't feel like you were confused to the point of blocking. It felt like you were confused to the point of uncovering. And so it was like,
Right.
okay, so we hold space. We get
Yep.
quiet. We get quiet as a room and we stop trying to fix things. And we just
Yeah.
drop in and listen and we see where our inner world takes us, where that inner observer, where that inner witness takes us. And it was that one. And maybe this is part of the reason that summit just felt extra deep. It felt extra magical. It felt very much like you were all on board with, like, we needed our scuba gear. We
Yep.
needed our oxygen tanks, and I cannot talk today. We needed our oxygen tanks. We needed all the tools and the equipment to nurture and support ourselves on that journey. But I feel like we just went so deep so fast, but not in a forced way. It just sort of happened.
You know what's funny? I just remember this. I had thought of it this week too, but so we always like to bring things with to the summit that we think we might need in the moment, right? My bag was so packed full of like art materials. I had markers and colored pencils, watercolored pencils, and I don't know how many sketchbooks. I didn't even open up one of them this weekend.
Oh
I wasn't
yeah.
supposed to
No,
because that's a distraction.
hundred
It,
percent.
but not a distraction in the way that like art and creating is an outlet for me, and I need to do it in certain cases.
Mm-hmm.
But this weekend, it wasn't about that's not the avenue I was supposed to take. I was supposed to take the silence, the absolutely nothing, because I haven't been doing that. I've been filling my toolkit with things that are like busy. And then I made the connection this morning that I need to meditate again, like real meditate. Because like I found many different ways to meditate, so to speak. Like knitting is very meditative.
Yeah.
I've even caught myself going into the flow while washing dishes sometimes, like, but those are things where I'm still doing something else, and I need my body needs to shut off from
Mm-hmm.
all the things. And I'm just making that connection now today, actually. And then this weekend, for packing for the cabin, I didn't bring any of my like drawing books, any of those things, because I just felt like I wasn't supposed to. That's not when it was. And then Thursday, I ended up getting 6 hours to myself, and it was it was the best
Oh, you
thing.
sound so
I didn't
happy.
have, and at first I was like, oh shoot, I could have, used time to draw or whatever. But then I was like, no, that would be you escaping this moment again when you need to go do something else, something that you don't normally get to do, or say you don't like to do, but kind of deep down you do. So I had the chauffeur at the lodge drive me from our cabin to the main lodge so I could go shopping at all the little shops and stuff. And I had a great time. It was awesome. I had a coffee with myself. It was That day was amazing. And I'm glad I didn't have my sketchbooks and stuff with me because I would have missed out on all of that. So
Isn't that
yeah.
the tricky beast that is the journey of
Mhm.
personal growth and like finding your true self, which is, the self-care toolkit and the self-care toolkit, whichever one you call it, are really useful tools, especially if you're in the ultimate chaos, right? And also, even within that dang toolkit, we can use it to avoid I mean, when we're in that space where we really just don't want to sit with ourselves.
Because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it was a new type of uncomfort that I hadn't felt,
Oh, I
like
love that you had
the
so much
gratitude,
discernment.
right? Because there was, I didn't know how it felt before. And then when it was coming in so much, I was like, well, I don't know what this is, but I need to avoid it.
Yeah, this
Move
feels
along, move
new.
along, distract yourself. Okay, that needs to be cleaned. So, but now I actually catch. There's that word again, right? But
It doesn't have to have a
I
negative
noticed.
connotation.
No, I know,
It just does
but
for me right now.
I'm trying to think of a more positive, like something that more people.
Witnessed?
Wait, oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that
I
word.
feel like we use that word a
I
lot in
witnessed.
a good way.
Yeah, I witnessed myself and started questioning. Okay, does that really need to be done right now,
Mm,
or are you trying to avoid something that's
mm.
coming up for you internally? So I did that all week.
You got inquisitive.
Right, but it didn't feel forced. It kind of just
It was
dropped
a
in like,
reflex.
yeah, the reflex
Girl,
of me catching, the reflex of me witnessing myself.
do you
Like
know
that's
how
what
powerful that is? Do you know how huge that is
I
and
do
like where
now.
you're going? Oh, I love, love, love this so much. I mean, it just sounds like in a week, your whole
Yeah.
world. I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, from everything you're saying right now, and even just like feeling, I mean, your energy is palpable through the screen. We're on Zoom, but like it's palpable. And I think about where you started when you entered the summit on Friday to like how your voice and energy feel now. It's night and day different. It's
Yeah.
completely rejuvenated, inspired. You feel like lighter, right? Like in a happy, positive, like more higher like
Yeah.
vibration kind of a way.
To be fair, I did feel like that already, like Monday morning.
Yeah.
But then the chaos of, oh my God, I have to get packed and go on vacation now. I kind of pushed that aside. But then it was like turning a corner and then immediately turning another corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because the help that the summit itself did was like, whoa.
Well, and I think about what you had coming after the summit, right? You had perhaps, and I don't know, I would love to hear your perspective on this, but it seems like there was still some apprehension with how your relationship with your son was going to go over the week. And then
Yep.
you still had a lot of packing to do. You still just had a lot. You had like your to-do list that felt
Yep.
like you maybe felt like you didn't have enough time, or you felt like you had limited amount of time to get done everything you had wanted to before the trip. And so you went from deep diving into yourself and what that might look like to chaos on some level.
Different kind of chaos.
But then you navigated it in a way that, I mean, I don't know, it's just everything I'm hearing. Like it doesn't sound like you had some pretty heavy concerns about like ideas of what this week might look like
Right.
versus yours.
Right.
And so, for that to fall into place the way it did. And here's the thing, I really do believe, especially like when we're doing this work and as parents, because I think they go together, when we can pause and not be reactive, when we can get ourselves into that state where we're mindful about our choice, even if our choice is anger or our choice is control or our choice is some sort of whatever, pick your thing.
Yeah.
I still think making that a mindful choice versus a reactive one, the energy behind it is different. Like, I'm not saying we're perfect all the time when we do this work, right? Like, clearly that's
Right.
not the case.
Right.
And also the fact that you, with the amount of energy that was behind the concern about how this week was going to go, could drop in and be that calm observer, be that witness. That is to be like celebrated. And which is you're doing that
Yeah.
today, right now.
I
Like
want to get
sharing
up
this
and
with me.
start
Thank you.
dancing, but my back has other plans.
Yeah. You can dance in your third eye. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is so amazing.
Yeah. It was great. It's a wild ride.
Yeah.
It really is. The whole week. I mean, and I know it's going to continue and unravel, not unravel in a bad way, but like unfold in other ways,
Mhm.
especially around the house now, because in particular, I physically can't do much, at least not for very long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've been stepping up in in ways a week ago I didn't think was possible.
Do you think they like feeling, I don't know if purposeful is the right word, but like, do you think there's a piece of that
Yes,
that they
because
like that they get to contribute to like,
they contribute, and I think it's a trust thing. I'm showing them that
mm,
I trust them,
oh, girl, there's so many layers to this.
which is its own beautiful,
Oh my gosh. There's so many things.
complicated.
Yeah. There's so many things that as parents we don't see in the moments in real
Yeah.
time until like something like this unfolds. And then it's like, oh, wait, hang on. There's a surrender that's forced upon you on some level because of your injury, right? And also that had started revealing itself before your injury. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I love it when our kids surprise us in like, because I think they don't have like the emotional intelligence or the words to explain to us what it is that feels off
Oh,
to
yeah.
them or what what
No,
what they need or how they
no,
might want to feel useful. And
there's
then
no
like,
way because they haven't learned that.
right,
Who's going to teach them?
right.
We need to teach them. And if I don't, do it for myself when I'm feeling those things in the moment, how do they know?
Right. Well, and the other beautiful thing is they're teaching each other. Like when you
That's
left
it
them
too.
alone to do their thing, like they actually were,
They're forming their own relationship with their sibling.
and in that there's a lot of learning that comes because they are, I mean, the relationship and communication and problem solving and all those things that you listed off, that is such a incredible gift that you gave the boys simply by pausing and observing, being there though, so that like the
Yeah,
safe space exists,
right.
you know, and
Yep.
also they're empowered to know that quote unquote help was there, but they were able to solve it on their own anyway or with
Without mom jumping in to try and
yeah.
fix everything all the time.
That that just feels so incredibly good.
It was, yeah, it was hard. It
Oh my
was
gosh.
so hard. Oh, I had to pretend to start reading like a pool rules book from like 1974, and it was just disgusting, like dripping in judgmental type form. And I was like, nope, I can't even pretend to look at this right now.
Just like bury your face in the
Yeah.
with the paper so you don't have to like so they can't see your face because you're literally
Right.
like gonna bite through your tongue because you so desperately
Uh-huh.
want to say something. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh. Oh. Yeah, I was a little bit curious about how that was going to go for you guys because there were two of you at the summit that were moving right on into a vacation. I thought, well, this is either going to be really amazing, which is what the feeling I got was it's going to be really
And
amazing,
it was.
or it has the potential to just tank. Because if you guys are
It
both on
did.
that raw edge of
Right.
the healing that was happening.
Right. It definitely could have gone both ways, but I think where we're both at in our journeys, we're far enough. We're not like I hesitate to use the word new or experienced or, but you get in your own rhythm
Hmm.
of growth. And I feel like we're both like trucking along at our own rhythms and are comfortable in our rhythm, that it it made it have a positive have the positive impact that it needed, instead of us both spiraling at the same time.
Yeah. Well, and I do think not that there's not surprises on the journey, because I definitely get those like smacks, like, oh my gosh, here we are again. This surprises me that this thing is coming up again, or this new thing is here. I didn't know it was there. But as far as like how to navigate when it gets hard, I think once you've done that a few times, there's just a part of you that goes, well, I've done this before. I'll do it again. It might look a little
Yeah,
different, but I know I have my resources. I know I have amazing people. Then the gratitude comes in and you start bawling, you know?
it's just a pattern. It's a
Yeah.
pattern. And if we teach our new we've been stuck in the patterns that don't serve us.
Hmm.
How about we try forming new patterns that actually feel good to be in?
Oh my
So,
gosh. I really hope this episode helps someone out there. And I'm really getting a loud ping that like parents. So I don't know if you want to speak a little bit more about the parenting journey and what has given
right.
you the most support along your journey of your own personal growth, or if there's been any surprises, or I don't know. I'm just going to give you the floor
Yeah,
if that's something you resonate with.
absolutely. I think first and foremost, community, because when
Hmm.
you think that saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Um, you need a village. You need to find if it's, but that village can look like so many different things. You just have to find the one that fits with you. Like if immediate family is not healthy for you or not an immediate option, then start branching out. If you're of church-based faith, maybe going to a church and finding community there. Or what I did was join the Moms Club of Coon Rapids and found my tribe with other stay-at-home moms, and the struggle of day to day, getting through life with little kids all on your own, like it's hard. So I think finding the tribe, community, whatever word resonates with you, um, and the people that resonate with you. Do
Hmm.
not stay stuck in, you know, deep down, if you're in an unfortunate situation, or you hang around people that don't have your best interest at heart, you got to let go of them.
Yeah.
Not just for your own good, but for your kids'. You're teaching your children how you let others treat you.
That's powerful.
Because if you just let other people walk all over, not walk all over, but there's a line, right? And if you feel like you can't stand up for something, then your kids aren't going to see you practicing it. So where, I don't know. I just feel like I have to practice what I preach, and I want to be the model for my kids that I wish I had. You know what I mean?
I do.
And like stand up for yourself when it needs to happen, and not just let it happen. Or I don't know. I just lost where I was going with that. But
Well, you talk about community.
yeah, that's been the biggest, and that community is going to change too. Like when I first became a mom, that was the hardest time because I had no community, right? I didn't know very many people in my neighborhood right at first. Um, and I didn't have family around, and so that was harder. And then after I heard about the Moms Club of Coon Rapids, so that's when I dove into that. It changed your whole perspective, right? Because now you meet the people that also are going through the similar things that you're going through right in this time. It's not going to be forever, but right now you need to be surrounded by others that can relate, if that makes sense. Like now I feel, I've been in that club for 4 years now, five, I forgot how many, but now we feel like we're going through a transition where I have other communities starting to build up too, that I'm like, okay, which one do I want to invest our time in that would be beneficial for all of us? Right? Like the Moms Club is great for kids with young babies and littles at home that they're home all day, but now my kids are getting school age, so I'm not needing necessarily that same support, but knowing I have other communities, especially like the JID and Choose Yourself one, that I can lean on more, that I want to be leaning on more, but I think I'm right now in this transition of figuring out what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
What how it looks for me to lean in to this new community, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah. Well, and it almost feels like, when your kids were littles, it was about like all of you needed support. And now it feels like you need some of your own communities that are outside of your children, and then also to have the communities with the three of you. And then the school perhaps gives them their own community that you're not necessarily a part of. Like
exactly.
the evolution of that is interesting, right? How we navigate like different time periods and what that might look like based on, well, our needs.
Right? Our current needs, not
Yeah.
future needs, not what worked in the past, because it's gonna change
You got to evolve.
constantly,
Yeah.
faster than you
Yeah.
are okay with. But you know what? You're buckle up.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Thank
so yeah.
you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for
You're
sharing the
welcome.
story. I wasn't sure what the story was going to be. I didn't have any expectations, but I'm thrilled with how your week went. Just I don't know. It sounds like you had like a week of not only rest and relaxation for yourself, a whole lot of awareness within yourself, and then a whole lot of, I don't know, I heard a whole lot of aha moments there. And then just
Uh-huh.
joy. Like I just heard
Boy.
so much excitement and
Gratitude.
joy and gratitude in your voice. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so good. And you got your tears, which is such a
I
weird
did
thing to celebrate, but it's not in
multiple
this
times.
world. That's so good.
All week. All week. Yeah.
Oh,
It, so I guess, going on vacation, rolling off a summit isn't half bad idea. I mean, I'd
yeah.
do it again.
I think the fact that there were two of you at the summit together that are doing this work together was definitely helpful. I don't know what it would look like, and I'm not claiming this to be a thing, but I don't know what it would look like if you were going off on a vacation with like I'm thinking about me. For me to like do the deep work and then go off on a vacation with people I've known forever who aren't in the sangha in the community with me, that might be harder for me to notice
Yeah,
my patterns and
true.
or maybe easier to notice my patterns, but harder to know how to navigate that in that
In a safe
particular.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think it's beautiful, like divinely aligned, if would be my words, that it
Yep.
just lined up that way. Because I just was like, oh my gosh, I feel like that's perfect.
And it
And
was.
also, depending on how it plays out, I suppose it could go the other way too.
Yeah, it definitely could. But I feel like we're all on this new leaf, so to speak, like
Yeah.
you mentioned, or chapter, or whatever, resonates, that we all see it through a different lens now. Life around us
Hmm.
is under a different view, I guess.
Yeah. I'm like seeing goggles that are super dirty, like
Yeah,
somebody going in and
yeah,
like cleaning them. You know when they have the ones like in the cartoons with the windshield wipers on them? Yeah, that way. I feel like I just saw that happening in real time.
yeah. It
Oh,
really is. That's a very good metaphor.
I
That's
love it.
exactly it.
So good. Do you have any last little, I feel like this feels like we're coming full circle and ready to wrap it
Yeah.
up. Is there any like one little nugget? Is there like a biggest aha moment that you feel like might help someone listening?
No, there were so freaking many of them.
Yeah.
This whole week was just like getting battered left and right, but in the best way possible. I don't know.
I think one thing that I find, maybe something that people don't think about or would maybe not embrace the way you have, and that is sometimes gratitude takes us to tears, and that's a beautiful thing, or it can
Oh,
be a beautiful
okay.
thing,
Yep.
Yeah. Because I think
Absolutely.
sometimes that might happen and then we get confused. Like, wait, why am I crying? Is this a different thing than what I thought it was? Like, what is this? What am I feeling right now? Is it really
Yeah.
gratitude or is it? Yeah, that's pretty
Yep.
cool. Ah, that's so good. So I know we're not talking about this today, but I really want to make sure that our listeners they know where to find you because you are an artist.
Oh,
You have
that's right.
amazing
I
things.
am. Did you know? I'm not just a mom.
So how can they find you?
I'm on Facebook mostly at A Basic Witches Crafts. And then I also have my own website at basicwitchescrafts.com.
Nice.
So you can follow me there. I feel like I'm currently in a transition with that too. I'm still creating. It's summer and I'm a stay-at-home mom. So, you know,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of long term, like long periods of creating. I get little spurts here and there, but
Yeah. I think
yeah.
I mean, you do custom work and you do
Yep.
a lot of different things that are
Things
pretty
and
amazing.
I've gotten into earrings and I do vinyl and heat transfer vinyl and oh, you name it, I've probably dabbled in it and I'd love to explore it again. If
Yeah.
somebody's got ideas of wanting to create something and they just don't know how to make it work, I usually that's where I come in and I'm
You
like,
do have a magical like skill set within that. It's like, I have this idea. How can we make this happen? And you just like, woot, woot, woot. How about
yep,
this? It's like,
yep.
oh,
What
okay. Yeah,
does
that's
it look like?
I wouldn't have gone there, but that's amazing.
And it works out.
It
So
does.
great.
Awesome. Okay. I think that's
Yeah.
a wrap for today. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow Alysia. Amazing. Thank you for joining. This was so spur of the
Thanks for
moment.
having me.
You're amazing.
It really was, but it's exactly how it was supposed to happen. So
It's like life,
thought too hard about what I was going to say, it wouldn't have come out the same way.
right? Thank
Yeah,
you. I appreciate
you're
you
welcome.
doing this for podcast purposes as well. I could
Of
hardly wait
course.
to talk to you. And I was like, I don't know. I just got a ping. And then I'm like, oh, it's a weird thing to ask when we're talking about choose yourself stuff. And we have a deep enough relationship that I was like, she'll tell me no. She'll say no if it's not okay. So
Right.
yeah.
And I have yet to say no. Not that that's, I need to put that out there. I don't know why I said it out loud, but okay, challenge
It's
accepted,
good.
I guess.
Yeah. We're not tempting anything. We're just
Right,
stating
right.
facts.
No more, please. Let my back healed first.
Oh my gosh. We might have to talk about that too.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. That's a wrap for today. Bye. Be you every day.